Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the Euro USD and GBPUSD and come up with trade ideas for the day, if there are any. So let's look at Forex Factory. So we do know that we do not have any high impact news today and only starting tomorrow. So let's go back to the charts and let's see. So yesterday was Monday. As we can see, this is the Monday candle. And it ended up being an indecision day. Okay, so we simply just had a doji candle both on the pound and on the Euro USD. Okay, so narrative overall context is still the same. Swing, we are bearish. We are in a pullback phase. We've mitigated 50%, and pullback could be complete, and now we could be ready to continue lower, okay, to target the week daily swing low. Okay, that's essentially from the daily on the Euro USD. And then from the pound, it's slightly different. From the pound, the swing is bullish. We've had a pullback, and the pullback could be complete, okay, since we mitigated the extreme of the range. Pullback could be complete, and now price could be ready to target the week daily swing high. Okay, so let's look at the 4-hour on the Euro USD. So this is what we have. This is our swing range. Okay, and then we have been bullish. Okay, so our internal shifted bullish to facilitate that swing pullback on the 4-hour. And then looking at the details, seeing, so after sweeping these highs, we've come back. We've still respected this demand area, okay, which led to this high, and taking out the highs at the left. Okay, so we're still respecting it. It hasn't been violated. However, we do have these structural points below, which could serve as liquidity targets. We also think we have, let's see, okay, not quite. So we do have a trend line. We've kind of swept part of the trend line, and price is pushing down, but for now this is not quite clear. So I would say, okay, for now the narrative, this is it. We've hit this demand, we've had a reaction, we have this supply at the top. Price did not reach into it per se, although came very close. So we could say, maybe depending on the broker, maybe price did actually mitigate, okay, and then push down. Okay, now this is respected, and we've come up to this area again. Now it looks like we are reacting bearish. So on the 4-hour, really there's nothing very clear. So let's look at the 15-minute. Let's look at the 15-minute. So this is the current swing range that I'm in. Okay, so we do, this is our swing high. Alright, I'm going to sweep, and then from there we broke structure to the upside. Okay, and then now after we've mitigated the extreme, which is yesterday, price is now possibly ready to take out the weak swing low on the 15-minute. Okay, so looking at today, this is what we have. So so internal, we have shifted bearish. Okay, so now our internal is now realigned with our swing. Okay, our internal is realigned with the swing. So now that we have realigned with the swing, it will be more ideal to look for shorts, okay, because we are now pro swing and pro internal, as they are in full alignment. Okay, so what can we expect? So alright, we see that price did sweep this high, okay, during Asia. So we do have that liquidity sweep, okay, and then so ordinarily that would be a nice POI. Okay, and then so what can we target? We do have this level of liquidity. Okay, so this could be taken, or this could be swept, you know, before key time window kicks in. So looking at price, okay, so we do have that trend line at the bottom, so that could serve as a target. Let's see what else has not been mitigated. Okay, so we do have this area. Okay, this area has been mitigated, so if price revisits, it's likely going to eliminate that area. And then we have the extreme of this trend line at the bottom. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing. Let's see. Okay, so now we have realignment. Okay, now we have realignment, so we could target these lows. So we do have the London low and Asia low, and as well as the swing low, okay, which are very close together. So that means we could have there is lots of resting liquidity down there. So let me do it this way. So we do have lots of resting liquidity at the bottom here, so that could be a nice target area right there. And then we have the swing low, and this is what we have. Okay, so I'll just create my alerts. Okay, so alright, so we're now pro swing, pro internal. So shorts will be high probability, and then now this area, of course, we did at a sweep and then led to a break of structure. Price has not yet revisited, so we are likely maybe going to sweep this area, mitigate this extreme, and then possibly have some kind of reaction, hopefully enough to give 3 to 1 reward to risk, If it happens outside key time window, okay, then we might be looking to not take the trade until maybe until after key time window. So what could then happen is I have a feeling this will be mitigated very soon, or at least that liquidity will be swept. The structural low will be swept very soon, possibly before key time window. So what could then happen is if this is taken before key time window, fine, we might mitigate this eventually before key time window as well. So we may have a reaction. Ideally, we would want to see maybe this getting swept during key time window, and then maybe price will come up. If not, if it happens outside key time window, then maybe we may look for areas to look for sales right somewhere, and then maybe continue bearish targeting these areas. Okay, targeting these areas of liquidity down there. Okay, so that's one roadmap that we are seeing. Price may not actually come all the way up. Okay, it may not come up all the way to mitigate this demand. All right, so that's that for the Euro USD. So let's see for the pound. Let's start on the 4-hour. So let's start on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, we do know that we are bullish. We had a bullish break of structure, price pushed up, swept these highs. Internally, we've kind of had a switch to bearishness, and then we've had that, and then now we've taken these highs again. So internally on the 4-hour, we've kind of switched bullish. So this is kind of a tight range. Okay, all right, that's simply a tight range price. So we've come back, mitigated this supply, and then now we are kind of having a reaction, pushing away. Okay, we have not mitigated this demand pivot, but we did mitigate this sell to buy range. Okay, all right, so looking at the 15-minute. So looking at the 15-minute, we see price pushed up, broke structure to the upside to facilitate coming in to mitigate this supply at the extreme. Okay, and then after break of structure, we do expect a pullback. So we did break structure with a minor pullback, and then we continued up, mitigated the supply, took out all this liquidity, and then eventually now price is pulling back down. So it is possible that price could just be pulling back to mitigate 50% of the range. Okay, and what do we have at that 50%? We do have resting liquidity. Okay, so I'm just going to extend this. So we do have the structural lows. So we have this Asia low and then that. So these are possible areas to target, areas of liquidity. Okay. And then we do have this zone below. Okay. So anything can happen As it stands, we're expecting price to continue bearish, take out these lows, mitigate this area, and then possibly have a reaction to the upside. Okay, have a reaction to the upside. So for the pound, we have pro internal and counter swing. Okay, that's kind of the direction right now. Okay, if we're going to go for shorts, all right, because we're still in a premium, all right, we're above the equilibrium, we're above the 50%. So we could go for shorts, all right, until we mitigate this area and then possibly this demand, and then look for longs. Okay. And then what we also have is, of course, we do have, looks like a trend line. Okay. We do have trend line there. So we broke structure. Just gonna cover that. Okay, that's already been mitigated. So we don't have anything clean at the moment. So any of these areas, price could just push up, okay, to target. Okay. So these areas failed. Okay. So for the pound, the only maybe scenario that I'm looking at that is clear would be possibly to wait for price to push down, mitigate this demand, and then possibly start looking for longs, at least targeting 3 to 1. Okay, so those are my trade ideas for today. There's nothing much to say really. So those are my trade ideas for the day. So please, if you find value in this material, don't forget to like, to subscribe, even share, and leave a comment letting me know how you are finding this material and how you are using it in your own trading as well. Okay, so have a great day, and Waking Trader out.